passion in life at all, it was the theatre. Oh, he had hopes and ambitions for higher office and had dedicated himself to zeal, hard work, and patience. Still, he would not deny himself his one great pleasure. So, he bought 2 tickets in the very best section of the theatre for the opening night performance of Rostov's The Bearded Countess. As luck would have it, into the theatre that evening came his respected superior, General Mikhail Brasilov, the Minister of Public Parks himself.
Good evening, General.
Good evening.
Permit me, sir. I am Chetakov, Ivan Ilyich. This is a great honor for me, sir.
Yes.
Like yourself, dear General, I too serve the Ministry of Public Parks. That is to say, I serve you, who is indeed himself the Minister of Public Parks. I am the Assistant Chief Clerk in the Department of Trees and Bushes.
Ah, yes, keep up the good work. Nice trees and bushes, very nice.
And my wife would very much like to say hello, General. This is she, my wife, Madame Cherdyakov.
How do you do?
My pleasure.
My pleasure, General.
எனக்கு ஆடியோ வருது வீடியோ காணோம்.
Madame Brasilov, my wife, Madame Cherdyakov.
How do you do?
How do you do?
I just had the pleasure of meeting your husband.
And I am my wife's husband. How do you do, Madame Brasilov?
I'm sorry, terribly sorry.
I hope you enjoy the play, sir.
I will if I can watch it.
Feeling quite pleased with himself for having made the most of this golden opportunity, Ivan Ilyich Cherdyakov sat back to enjoy the bearded countess. He was no longer a stranger to the Minister of Public Parks. They had become, if one wanted to be generous about the matter, familiar with each other. And then, quite suddenly, without any warning, like a bolt from the grey thundering sky, Ivan Ilyich Cherdyakov raised his head back and...
Oh my goodness. I'm sorry.
Leave it.
I'm sorry, Your Excellency. I'm so terribly sorry.
You make it too much of the matter.
All right. It certainly is not all right. It's unpardonable. It was monstrous of me.
Leave it, I said.
How can I let it rest? It was inexcusable. Permit me to wipe your neck, General. It's the least that I can do.
Leave it be, I say. Let it rest.
But I splattered you, sir. Your complete head is splattered. It was an accident, I assure you, but it's disgusting. The thing is, Your Excellency, it came completely out of warning, and it was out of my nose before I could stifle it.
I'm sorry. Terribly sorry.
Yes, certainly. I'm sorry. It's not a cold. It's not a cold, if that's what you were worrying about, sir. Probably a particle of dust in the nostril.
I'm sorry, terribly sorry.
But try as he might, Cherdyakov could not put the incident out of his mind. The sneeze, no more than an innocent anatomical accident, grew out of all proportion in his mind until it resembled the angry roar of a cannon aimed squarely at the enemy camp. He played the incident back in his mind, slowing the procedure down so he could view again in horror the infamous deed. and the opera came to an end.
Charming! Charming!
Yes, charming.
Charming, simply charming. Wasn't it charming, my darling?
I found it utterly charming.
I was completely charmed by it.
Excuse me,
Who's
Excellency.
tapping? There's somebody tapping. Who's the tapping?
I'm tapping, sir. I'm the tapper, Tertekov.
Stand back, dear. It's the sneezer.
No. It's all right. I'm all sneezed out. I was just concerned of you going out into the night air with the damp hair.
Oh, that. It was a trifle, a mere faux pas. Forget it, young man. Amusing play. Don't you think so?
Amusing. Oh my goodness. Yes. so true. Amusing. I haven't laughed this much in years.
Which part interested you the most?
The sneeze. When I sneezed on you, it was unforgivable.
Forget it, young man. Come, my dear. It looks like rain, and I do not want to get my head wet again.
You shouldn't let people sneeze on you, dear. You're not to be sneezed at.
I'm ruined. Ruined. He'll have me fired from trees and bushes. They'll send me down to branches and twigs.
Come, Ivan.
What?
You mustn't let this concern you. It was just a harmless little sneeze. The general's probably already forgotten about it.
Do you really think so?
No. I'm scared, Ivan.
And so they walked home in despair.
Perhaps I should send him a nice gift. Maybe some Turkish towels.
Sherdyakov's once promising career had literally been blown away.
Why did this happen to me? Why did I go to the theatre at all? Why didn't I sit in the balcony with the people of our own class? They love sneezing at each other.
Come to bed, Ivan.
Oh, perhaps if I were to call on the general and explain matters again, but in such a charming and honest and self-effacing manner, he would have no choice but to forgive me.
Maybe it is best not to remind him, Ivan.
Oh, no. If I ever expect to become a gentleman, I must behave like one.
And so the morning came. As it happened, it was the morning the general listened to petitions. And since there were 50 or 60 petitions ahead of Sherdyakov, he waited till morning, late afternoon.
Next! Next!
I'm not next, Your Excellency. I'm last.
Very well then, last.
That's me, sir.
What is your petition?
I have no petition, sir. I am not a petitioner.
Then you waste my time.
You not recognize me, sir. We met last night under rather explosive circumstances. I am the splatterer.
A what?
The sneezer, the one who sneezed, the sneezing splatterer.
Indeed. What is that you want now? A Gesundheit?
No, Your Excellency, your forgiveness. I just wanted to point out that there was no political or antisocial motivation behind my sneeze. It was a non-partisan, non-violent act of God. I cursed the day this protuberance formed itself on my face. It's a hateful nose, sir, and I am not responsible for its indiscretions. Punish that which committed the crime, but absolve the innocent body behind it. Exile my nose, but forgive me, Your Kindship, forgive me.
My dear good friend, I am not angry with your nose. I am too busy to have time for your nasal problems. I suggest you go home and have a hot bath or a cold one. Take something, but stop bothering me with this silly business. Gibber, 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 gibber. That's all I've heard all day. Gibber, 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 gibber.
Thank you, sir. God bless you and your wife and your household, and may your days be sweet and may your nights be better than your days.
The feeling of relief that came over Sherdyakov was enormous.
May the birds sing in the morning at your window, and may the coffee in your cup be strong and hot.
The weight of the burden that was lifted from him seemed inestimable.
I worship the chair you sit on and the uniform that you wear that sits on the chair that I worship.
He walked home, singing and whistling like a lark. Life was surely a marvel, a joy, a heavenly paradise.
Oh God, I am happy.
And yet
And yet,
when he went home, he began to think.
have I been the butt of a cruel and thoughtless joke?
Had the minister toyed with him?
If he had no intention of punishing me, why did he torment me so unmercifully?
If the sneeze meant so little to the minister, why did he cause Sherdyakov to writhe in his bed all night?
To twist in agony the entire night.
Sherdyakov was furious.
I am furious.
He fumed and foamed and paced the night through, and in the morning he called out to his wife, Sonia!
Sonia! I have been humiliated.
You, Ivan? Who would humiliate you? You are such a kind and generous person.
Who? I'll tell you who. General Brasilov, the Minister of Public Parks.
What did he do?
A swine. I was humiliated in such subtle fashion, it was almost indiscernible. The man's cunning is only equal to his cruelty. He practically forced me to come to his office and grovel and beg on my knees. I was reduced to a gibbering idiot.
You were that reduced?
I must go back and tell him what I think of him. The lower classes must speak up. The world must be made safe so that men of all nations and creeds, regardless of color or religion, will be free to sneeze on their superiors. It is he who will be humiliated by I.
And so in the morning, Sherdyakov came to humiliate he.
Last. Well?
Well, you say. Do you not recognize me, Your Excellency? Look at my face. Yes, you are quite correct. It is I, once again.
It is you, once again, who?
Sherdyakov, Excellency. I have returned, having taken neither a cold bath nor a hot one.
Who let the filthy man in? What is it?
What is it? What is it, you ask? You sit there behind your desk and ask, what is it? You sit there in your lofty position as General and Minister of Public Parks, a member in high standing among the upper class, and ask me, a lowly civil servant, what is it? You sit there with full knowledge that there is no equality in this life. There are those of us who serve and those that are served. That those of us that obey and those that are obeyed. Those of us who bow and those that are bowed to. That in this life certain events take place that cause some of us to be humiliated. And those that are the cause of such humiliation. And still you ask, what is it?
What is it? Don't stand there gibbering like an idiot. What is it you want?
I'll tell you what I want. I wanted to apologize again for sneezing on you. I wasn't sure I made it clear the first time. It was an accident, I assure you.
Out! Out you go. You idiot, you fool imbecile. Get out of my sight. I do not want to see you again. If you ever cross my line of vision, I will have you exiled forever. What's your name? You germ spreader, you maggot, you insect, You are lower than an insect. You are the son-in-law of a cockroach. You are a brother-in-law of a bedbug. You're the second cousin of a ringworm. You are nothing, nothing, nothing. Do you understand? Nothing.
At that moment, something went out of Sherdyakov. Something so vital, so organic, that the damage that it did seemed inestimable. Something drained from him that looked like the very life force itself. What happened next was quite simple. Ivan Ilyich Sherdyakov went home, took off his coat, lay down on the sofa, and died. Wait, for those who are offended by life's cruelty, I have an alternate ending. Ivan Ilyich Sherdyakov went home, took off his coat, lay down on the sofa, and inherited 5 million rubles. There's not much point in it, but it is uplifting, you know. It's not my intention to paint life any harsher than it is. But some of us are indeed trapped. Witness the predicament of a young governess who cares for and educates the children of a well-to-do family.
Julia?
Trapped indeed.
Julia?
Yes, madame?
Look at me, child. Pick your head up. I like to see your eyes when I speak to you.
Yes, madame.
And how are the children coming along with their French lessons?
They're very bright children, madame.
Very bright, you say. Good.
Yes, madame. Especially Vanya.
Certainly, I knew it. Well, I excelled in mathematics. He gets that from his mother, wouldn't you say?
Yes, madame.
Head up. That's it. Don't be afraid to look people in the eye, my dear. If you think of yourself as inferior, that's exactly how people will treat you.
Yes, madame.
Quiet girl, aren't you? Now then, let's settle our accounts. I imagine you must need some money, although you never seem to ask for any. Let's see now. We agreed to 30 rubles a month, did we not?
40, madame.
No, 30. I made a note of it. I always pay my governesses 30. Who told you 40?
You did, madame. I didn't speak to anyone else concerning money.
Impossible. Maybe you thought you heard 40 when I said 30. If you kept your head up, that would never happen. Now look at me again and I'll say it clearly. 30 rubles a month.
If you say so, ma'am.
Settled. 30 a month it is. Now then, you've been here 2 months exactly.
2 months and 5 days.
No, exactly 2 months. I made a note of it. You should keep books the way I do. Then there wouldn't be these discrepancies. So we have 2 months at 30 rubles a month. That comes to 60 rubles, correct?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Subtract 9 Sundays. We did agree to subtract Sundays, didn't we?
No, ma'am.
Eyes. Certainly we did. I've always subtracted Sundays. I didn't bother making a note of it because I always do. Don't you recall when I said we will subtract Sundays?
No, ma'am.
Think.
No, ma'am.
You weren't thinking. Your eyes were wandering. Look straight at my face and look hard. Do you remember now?
Yes, ma'am.
I didn't hear you, Julia.
Yes, ma'am.
Good. I was sure you'd remember. Plus 3 holidays, correct?
2, ma'am. Christmas and New Year's.
And your birthday, that's 3.
I worked on my birthday, ma'am.
You did? Well, there was no need to. My governesses never worked on their birthdays.
But I did work, ma'am.
Well, that's not the question, Julia. We're discussing financial matters here. I will, however, count only 2 holidays if you insist. Do you insist?
I did work, ma'am.
Then you do insist.
No, ma'am.
Very well, then 3 holidays. Therefore, we take off 12 rubles. Now then, 4 days little Kolya was sick and there were no lessons.
But I gave lessons to Vanya.
True, but I engaged you to teach 2 children, not 1. Shall I pay you in full for doing only half the work?
No, ma'am.
So we deduct it. Now, 3 days you had a toothache and my husband gave you permission not to work after lunch, correct?
After 4. I worked until 4.
I have here did not work after lunch. We have lunch at 1 and are finished at 2, not at 4, correct?
Yes, ma'am, but I...
That's another 7 rubles. 7 and 12 is 19, subtract, that leaves 41 rubles, correct?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Now then, on January the 4th, you broke a teacup and a saucer, is that true?
Just the saucer, ma'am.
Well, what good is a teacup without a saucer? That's 2 rubles. And the saucer was an heirloom, it cost much more, but let it go. I'm used to taking losses.
Thank you, ma'am.
Now then, on January the 9th, Kolya climbed a tree and tore his jacket.
I forbid him to do so, ma'am.
But he didn't listen, did he? 10 rubles. And on January the 14th, Vanya's shoes were stolen.
By the maid, ma'am. You discharged her yourself.
But you get paid good money to watch everything. I explained that to you at our first meeting. Perhaps you weren't listening. Were you listening that day, Julia? Or was your head in the clouds?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes? Your head was in the clouds?
No, ma'am. I was listening.
Good girl. That means another 5 rubles off. Ah, yes. And then on the 16th of January, I gave you 10 rubles.
You didn't.
Well, I've made a note of it. Why would I make a note of it if I didn't give it to you?
I don't know, ma'am.
That's not a good answer, Julia. Why would I make a note of giving you 10 rubles if in fact I didn't give it to you? No answer? Then I must have given it to you, mustn't I?
Yes, ma'am. If you say so, ma'am.
Well, certainly I say so. That's the whole point of this little talk. To clear up these matters, take 27 from 41, that leaves 14, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
What's this? Tears? Are you crying? Oh, has something made you unhappy, Julia? Please tell me. It pains me to see you like this. I'm so sensitive to tears. What is it?
Only once since I've been here have I ever been given any money. And that was by your husband on my birthday. He gave me 3 rubles.
Really? Oh, there's no note of it in my book. I'll put it down now. 3 rubles. Thank you for telling me. You know, sometimes I'm a little lax with my accounts. Always shortchanging myself. So then we take 3 rubles from 14. That leaves 11. Do you wish to check my figures?
There's no need, ma'am.
Well, then we're all settled. Here's your salary for 2 months, dear. 11 rubles. Count it.
It's not necessary, ma'am.
Come. Let's keep the record straight. Count it.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's only 10 rubles here, ma'am.
Are you sure? Well, possibly you dropped one. Look on the floor. See if you can find a coin there.
I didn't drop any, ma'am. I'm quite sure.
Well, it's not here on my desk. And I know I gave you 11 rubles. Look on the floor.
It's all right, ma'am. 10 rubles will be fine.
Well, keep the 10 for now, and if we don't find it on the floor later, we'll discuss it again next month.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. You're very kind, ma'am.
Julia, come back here. Why did you thank me?
For the money, ma'am.
For the money? Don't you realize what I've done? I've cheated you, robbed you. I have no such notes in my book. I just made up whatever came into my mind. Instead of 80 rubles, which I owe you, I gave you only 10. I have actually stolen from you. And still you thank me? Why?
In the other places that I've worked, they gave me no money at all.
Well, then they cheated you even worse than I did. I was just playing a little joke on you, a cruel lesson just to teach you. You're much too trusting, and in this world, it's very dangerous. Now, I'm going to give you the entire 80 rubles. It's all ready for you. The rest is in that envelope. Take it.
As you wish, ma'am.
Julia, is it possible to be so spineless? Why don't you protest? Why don't you speak up? Why don't you cry out against this cruel and unjust treatment? Is it really possible to be so guileless, so innocent, such a, pardon me for being so blunt, such a simpleton?
Yes, ma'am, it's possible.
Wait. For those again who are offended by life's cruelty, there is an alternate ending. Julia was so enraged with his harsh and unjust treatment that she quit her job on the spot, went back to her poor parents, where she inherited 5 million rubles. It is my intention to one day write a book of 37 short stories, all with the same ending. I do love it so. You know, it has been said that man is the only creature capable of laughter, and this is the faculty that separates him from other forms of life. Yet one must wonder about this when one sees some of the objects of our laughter. For example, pain. Why the sight of a man in excruciating agony from an abscessed tooth, which has swollen his jaw to the size of an orange, is funny, I couldn't say. It's not funny, not in the least. But in the village of Astemko, where they have very little access to entertainment, the sight of a man with a toothache could tickle their ribs for weeks. Certainly. Sergei van Beglasov, the sexton, saw nothing humorous about it, but as he trudged through the village on the way to the hospital, his moans and his groans won him more chuckles than sympathetic remarks. And wouldn't they find it even more amusing to know that the good doctor who performed the extractions of angry teeth was away at the wedding of his daughter, and that duty fell to his young assistant, Kuryatin, an eager medical student, if alas, poor sexton, an inexperienced one.
Greetings, Father. Greetings. What brings you here?
Oh, the pain is unbearable. It is beyond unbearable. It is unendurable.
Where exactly is the pain?
Oh, where isn't it? It's everywhere. It's not just my tooth, it's the whole side of my mouth.
And how long have you had this pain?
10 years.
10 years?
Oh, since yesterday morning, it seems like 10 years. I must have sinned terribly to deserve this. God must have dropped every business to punish me this way. But where is the doctor?
The doctor is away. He's away on personal business, and he's left the care of his patients in my young and capable hands.
Are you a doctor?
In every way, except a degree. I am a doctor to be.
Oh, then I am a patient to be. Goodbye.
And I can assure you the only thing that prevents me from being called doctor is the formality of an examination. I'm skilled, Father. I'm skilled. I'm just not titled. Please, I beg you this opportunity. Please sit in the chair, Father.
Oh, even sitting hurts.
Oh, no doubt the nerves are inflamed. Once removed, the pain will cease to be.
You're going to remove my nerves?
The tooth that's connected to the nerve. It's a simple matter of surgery.
Your cigar, your cigar.
What? What?
Your cigar is burning my eyes.
I'm sorry. Would you rather I put it out? I only smoke to steady my nerves.
Smoke it, smoke it, smoke it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Now, let me take your scarf off. Oh. Oh, now let's see what we have here. Well, my dear Sexton, I will spare
I pray to God. I pray to God. I pray to our saints in heaven. I pray to our dear Lord. Please be patient. Spare me the pain.
Oh, my dear Sexton, we are living in an age of advanced science. In skilled hands, there is no longer need for pain. If it's gentleness you want, it's gentleness you'll have. Now, are you ready? Please open your mouth so that I can examine you. Oh, come now, open your mouth, please. No, my dear Sexton, inexperienced as I am, I know it is essential that you open your mouth. I mean, it's mandatory to all business concerning the mouth to have it open first. It would be highly impractical of me to pull your tooth out from the outside. Now, please open up. Your entire mouth, not your lips. I don't want to brush your teeth. I want to examine them.
Oh, will you be gentle?
Oh, didn't I promise you I would?
Oh, as a child, I was promised many things I did not get.
There is no pain connected to this part. This part is merely an examination to find out what must be done, where and how. Now open up! Good. Now let's have a look. There is his. Ooh, you're an ugly little fellow, aren't you? You're a nasty little fellow. Whoa.
Stop talking to it. Don't make friends with it. Pull it out.
Don't rush me. I'm evaluating. Ooh, your tooth has a hole big enough to drive a horse and carriage through it.
Whoa, what is it?
It's even more disgusting to look at. But if this is going to be my profession, I'm going to have to get used to these things.
Will you be gentle?
As though I were your own mother.
My mother didn't like me gentler.
I'm going to try something. I want to see how exposed the nerve is, and all I'm going to do is gently blow on your tooth. That's all. That's all right. Okay. Excuse me. All right. Here we go. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Oh. Is that how far science is advanced? Blowing on teeth?
Oh, it's still inconclusive. More work must be done in this field. So much depends on the temperature of the doctor's breath. Here we are.
What are you going to do with that?
The tooth has to be pulled. It'll be out quicker than you can spit.
Oh, merciful God.
Oh, surgery is nothing. It's all a matter of the firm hand. Now open up.
I pray to God, may the Lord enlighten your soul. May He give you health and quickness, but mostly quickness.
There you go. This will come out soon. Well, some teeth give you trouble, I admit, but that's only when the roots are deep. I hope you pray for shallow roots. All right, here we go. Now, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't grab my hand. Don't grab my hand. Let go. Let go, I say. Let go. Right, you go again. You've got my hand again. If I'm going to pull your tooth, I need my hand. Now let go. If you don't let go of my hand, I'm going to take these forceps and pull your fingers out. Let's try one more time. Okay. That's it. Very nice. Now don't twitch. Don't twitch. Sit still. You're twitching again. Touching again. Now the important thing is to get a hole deep enough to hold it so we don't break the crown. I'm gonna have enough trouble with you without steady now, world. When I say 3, 2, 1. I pulled it out. I got it. I pulled out my first tooth.
spelled it out right. I hope they pull you into the next world like this.
Oh no. Oh no, I knew it. I knew it. You've still got the roots in your mouth. Oh, what a mess this is going to be. I told you not to twitch.
You butcher, you carpenter, your God's vengeance on me for my sins. Compared to you, the toothache was a joy.
You ignorant peasant. The only thing harder than the roots in your tooth are the brains in your head. Now, get back in that chair. We've got unfinished business.
If you put your hand in my mouth, keep off, you sorcerer. That would be the first solid food I've eaten this week.
You're not leaving here until those roots come out. It's a question of professional pride.
I failed.
I failed in my duty.
Come, son. Let us pray for a miracle. Oh, dear Lord in heaven.
Dear God above,
I plead for the good doctor.
I pray for this poor creature.
Keep his hands steady.
Keep his mouth open.
May they not falter.
Please don't let him bite me.
Hail Mary!
Hail Mary!
Hail Mary!
Hail Mary!
Hail Mary!
Hail Mary!
Alas, poor sexton. Did he get the roots out of his mouth? Was Kuryatin successful? Or did von Miglasov have to wait for the good doctor to get it all done? Ah, well, that's another story, you know. I will tell you that story later. Let's leave pain, agony for a moment. Let's talk of love and mild seduction. What do you say? Right. Peter Semyonich was the greatest seducer of other men's wives that I've ever met. Oh, he was successful with all women for that matter. But there was a special challenge to beautiful women married to rich, prominent, successful men. I could never do him justice. Let him tell you in his own words.
If I may say so myself, I'm the greatest seducer of other men's wives that I've ever met. I say this not boastfully, but as a matter of record. The staggering figures speak for themselves. For those men interested in playing this highly satisfying but often dangerous game, I urge you to take out pen and paper and take notes. I am going to explain my methods. Well, in defense, married women may do likewise, but it will do them little good if they happen to be the chosen victim. My method has never failed. Now then, there are 3 vital characteristics needed, and they are patience, more patience, and still more patience. Those of you who do not have the strength to wait and persist, I urge you to take up bicycling or rowing perhaps. Seducing is not for you. Now then, in order to seduce a man's wife, you must, and I repeat, must, keep as far away from her as possible. Pay her practically no attention whatsoever. Ignore her if you must. We will get to her through her husband. Well, you are about to witness a practical demonstration, for as it happens, I am madly and deeply in love this week. Oh, my heart pounds with excitement, knowing that she will pass through this garden in a few moments with her husband. Every fiber of my being tells me to throw my arms around her and embrace her with all the passion in my heart. But observe how a master works. I shall be cool, almost to the point of freezing. My heart of hearts and spouse approaches.
Ah, Peter Semyonich. Fancy meeting you here.
My dear Nikolai, how good to see you. You're looking well.
Thank you.
Now notice how I'm not looking at her.
And you gay devil, you're always looking well. Excuse me, have you met my wife Irina?
Yes, I think we have met.
Oh yes, you sat next to her at dinner at the Vashnovs. Irina, I must tell you that this man, this charmer, is a scoundrel, a notorious bachelor, and an exceptional swordsman. That's the best I can say for you, Peter.
Oh, you exaggerate, Nicky. But good to see you again.
We were just taking a stroll. If you're not too busy, why don't you walk with us?
Well, that's very kind of you, Nikolai, but as a matter of fact, I am riveted to the spot. A new romance has just entered my life. And my legs are like pillars of granite. Until she is out of my sight, I will be incapable of movement. Too much, do you think?
Fantastic. You never cease to amaze me. Pretty, I suppose.
Oh, suppose magnificent, suppose glorious, and you will suppose correctly.
Any complications?
As usual, a husband. Oh, I'm afraid my cause looks hopeless.
Nonsense. I'm placing my money on you, Peter. And you know I never bet unless I'm sure of winning. Well, we're off. Good hunting, my boy. Good hunting.
Madame, beautifully done, don't you think? I'm sometimes awed by the work of a true professional. Did you notice that our eyes barely met? We exchanged hardly a word, yet how much she knows of me already. That A, I'm a popular bachelor, B, a man in love, always titillating to romantic women. C, a gifted sportsman, makes a wonderful contrast to her sedentary husband. And D, well, this is the most important, a dangerous man with the ladies. Well, quite frankly, at this point, she's quite disgusted by me because A, I'm a braggart and a scoundrel, and B, because I'm shamelessly frank to my intentions, and C, because she thinks that she's not the one that I'm interested in. Oh, forgive me if I'm slightly overcome by my own deviousness. Oh, well, by the way, are you getting all this down? Because it gets tricky from here on in. Right now, where will we? Yes, the next step is hypnosis. Not the hypnosis with your eyes, but with the poison of your tongue, much like a venomous snake, moving in for a kill. And what's more, the best channel is the husband himself. Now witness as I accidentally run into him one day at the club.
Peter, you're looking glum. Your pursuit isn't going well, I take it.
Is it that obvious? I'm doomed, Nicky. I haven't seen her since I last met you and your dear wife. I sleep little and I eat less. I've taken all my shirt collars in by half an inch. Ah, Nicky, why do I waste my valuable time chasing women I can never hope and truly call my own? Oh, how I envy you.
Me? What's there about me that you envy?
Oh, why, your marriage, of course. A charming woman, your wife, let me tell you.
Really? What's there about her that fascinates you so?
Her grace, her quiet charm, everything. But mostly it's the way she looks at you, Nicky. Oh, if only someone would look at me like that with such wonderful, adoring, loving eyes. Oh, well, it must send quivers through your body.
Quivers? No, not really.
Perhaps a tingle, perhaps? Don't tell me you don't tingle when she looks at you.
Of course. By all means, I tingle all the time.
Oh, she's an ideal woman, Nicky. Believe that from a lonely bachelor. And be glad that fate gave you a wife like yours.
Perhaps fate will be as kind to you.
Oh, that's what I'm counting on. Oh, good heavens, I'm late for my doctor's appointment.
What's he treating you for?
Melancholia. Well, please say hello to your extraordinary wife, but I urge you not to repeat our conversation because it might embarrass her fragile sensitivities. Oh, where is the woman for me? Oh. I know where. The question is, how soon will she be mine? Well, there is still work to be done, but not by me. That task falls to my aid and accomplice. Oh, by the way, I saw Peter Semyonich today.
Oh, by the way, I saw Peter Semyonich today.
Who?
Peter Semyonich, the bachelor. We met him at the gardens last week. That attractive fellow, you remember.
I remember what a loathsome man he is.
You may not think so when you hear what he had to say about you.
Nothing that braggart had to say would interest me.
He spoke most enthusiastically about you. He was enraptured by your grace, your quiet charm. He said there was something in your eyes, the way you looked so adoringly. He certainly had a lot to say about you. He went on and on. Good night, dear.
Good night. What else?
Huh?
What else did he have to say about me?
Peter?
Whatever that loathsome man's name is, what else did Peter Semyonich say about me?
What I just told you, that's about it.
But you said he went on and on?
Oh, he did.
But you stopped. If he went on and on, don't stop. Either go on and on, or let's go to bed.
Well, he said how much he envied me, how much he wanted someone to look at him the way you look at me.
How does he know how I look at you?
Well, that day in the gardens, he must have been looking at you when you were looking at me. It sent a tingle through my whole body.
The way I looked at you.
Exactly, my precious.
But you were looking at him, so you couldn't have seen how I was looking at you. As a matter of fact, I was looking at the flowers because he made me nervous the way he kept avoiding looking at me. You must have tingled for some other reason.
It's getting rather confusing. The point is, he found you fascinating. I thought it would please you.
Well, it doesn't. I would rather you didn't tell me such stories. Are you planning to see him again soon?
Tomorrow, for lunch.
Well, I would rather not be discussed over lunch. Tell him that. And at dinner, you can tell me what he said. Good night, Nicky.
Good night, my angel.
Good night, my love. I'm spellbound by my own powers. I succeeded not only in piquing her interest, but in causing her heart to flutter at the mere mention of my name. The same man that she called loathsome not 2 minutes ago. And all this was accomplished, mind you, while I was at home taking a pine-scented bath. Luncheon the next day was not only nourishing, but also productive. Oh, by the way, old man, I bumped into Nekrasov yesterday, the artist. It seems he's been commissioned by some wealthy prince to paint the head of a typical Russian beauty. He asked me to look out for a model for him. I said I knew just the woman, but I didn't dare ask her myself. What do you think of asking your wife?
Asking my wife what?
To be the model, of course. Oh, that lovely head of hers. It would be a damn shame if that exquisite face missed a chance to become immortalized for all the world.
For all the world? Really? I see what you mean.
Well, why don't you discuss it with her?
Good idea. I'll discuss it with her. So, I said I would discuss it with you. What do you think?
I think it's nonsense. I mean, how did he put it to you? Did he actually say a typical Russian beauty?
Precisely. And that it would be a damn shame if that exquisite face missed the chance to become immortalized for all the world. That's exactly what he said.
He gets carried away by his own voice. Those exact words. You didn't leave anything out.
Oh yes, that lovely face. I left out that lovely face. He must have said that a number of times, I think.
He does go on, doesn't he? How many times did he say it? Once, twice, what?
Let me think. It's hard to remember.
Oh, it's not important. But in future, I do wish you would write these things down.
Have you seen me near her? Have you heard me speak to her? Has any correspondence passed between us? No, my dear pupils. And yet, she hangs on to my every word uttered by her husband. This is awesome, isn't it? Well, we apply this treatment for the 2 to 3 weeks. Her resistance is weakening, weakening, weakening.
I think his mind is elsewhere, if you ask me. On some woman, from the looks of him.
What woman? Has he mentioned any woman in particular?
Oh no, he's too discreet for that. He will protect her good name at any cost. Instead, he speaks about you all day. Poor fool, I'm beginning to feel sorry for him.
It's really none of our concern, Nikki. Did you ask him to dinner tomorrow?
He's busy.
The day after then?
Busy.
Next week? Next month? When? Doesn't the man eat?
He says he's working on a very important project and it'll be months before he can see us. He did say that with patience and persistence, good things will come to him. By the way, he thinks you should go to the stage.
The stage? Me on the stage? Why in heaven's name?
Well, he said, just a moment, I don't want to misquote him.
No, take your time. Try to get it as accurately as possible.
Yes. He said, with such an attractive appearance, such intelligence, sensitiveness, it's important for her to be just a housewife.
Oh dear, he said that?
And that ordinary demands don't exist for women like her.
Nikki, I don't think I want to hear anymore.
Natures like that should not be bound by time and space.
Nikki, I implore you, please stop.
And then he says, if I weren't so busy, I'd take her away from you.
He said that?
Yes, right there.
What did you say, Nikki? It's important I know what you said to him then.
Well, I said, take her then. I'm not going to fight a duel over her.
Nikki, you mustn't discuss me with him anymore. I beg you not to mention my name to him ever again.
But I don't, my love. He's the one who brings up the subject all the time. He accuses me of not understanding you. He shouted at me. She's such an extraordinary creature, strong, seeking a way out. If I were Turgenev, I would put her in a novel. The passionate angel, I would call it. The man is weird, definitely weird.
He's delivering my love letters, sealing them with kisses, and calls me weird, I ask you. So, well, let's see what we've got so far. The poor woman is definitely consumed with a passion to meet me. She is sure that I'm the only man who truly understands her. Her yawning, disinterested husband transmits my remarks, but it is my voice that she hears, my words that sing in her heart. The sweet poison is doing its work. I am relentless. There is no room for mercy in this seducing business. Now observe how deftly the final stroke is administered. For the faint-hearted, I urge you to look away.
No, Nikki, I don't want to hear. Not another word from him. Please, nothing.
But exactly, that's what he said. He begged me to tell you nothing. He said he knew because of your sweet, sympathetic nature, you would worry to hear of someone else's distress.
He's in distress?
Worse, he's gloomy, morbid, morose, in the depths of despair.
Oh no, but why? What's the matter with him?
Loneliness. He says he doesn't have any relatives, no true friends, not a soul who understands him.
But doesn't he know we understand him perfectly? Doesn't he know how much we appreciate him and commune with him daily? Doesn't he know how much we yearn to be with him, you and I?
Yes, I tried to make that clear. I again urged him to come home to dinner with me, but he says he can't face people. He's so depressed that he can't stay home. He paces the public gardens where we met him every night.
What time?
Between 8 and 9. By the way, we're invited to the Veshkovics tomorrow. Is 8 o'clock all right for you?
No, I'm visiting Aunt Sophia. She's ill, but I can be there by 9 or a little after.
Please, 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 no applause. I couldn't have done it alone. I share that honor with my good friend and collaborator, her husband. Well, he wooed her so successfully that there is no carriage fast enough for her to be in my arms. She ran all the way. Observe. Now, for the conclusion, you will understand that if I ask you to, busy yourselves with your programs or such, these next few moments are private. And I am, after all, a gentleman. My dear sweet angel, at last I can speak the words that I've longed to speak to you.
Not a word, not a sound, please. I couldn't bear it. Not until you've heard what's in my heart. For weeks now, I've been in torment. You've used my husband as a clever and devious device to arouse my passions, which I freely admit have been lying dormant these past 7 years. Whether you are sincere or not, you have awakened in me desires and longings I never dreamt were possible. You appeal to my vanity, and I succumb. You bestir my thoughts of untold pleasures, and I weaken. You attack my every vulnerability, and I surrender. I am here, Peter Semyonich, if you want me. But let me add this. I love my husband dearly. He is not a passionate man, not even remotely romantic. Our life together reaches neither the heights of ecstasy nor the depths of anguish. We have an even marriage, moderate and comfortable. And in accepting this condition and the full devotion of his love, I have been happy. I come to you now knowing that once you take me in your arms, my marriage and my life with Nikki will be destroyed forever. I am too weak and too selfish to make the choice. I rely on your strength of character. The option is yours, my dear Peter. Whichever one you choose will make me both miserable and eternally grateful. I beg of you not to use me as an amusement, although even with that knowledge, I would not refuse you. I am yours, to do with as you will, Peter Semyonich. If you want me, open your arms now, and I will come to you. If you love me, turn your back, and I will leave and never see or speak to you again. The choice, my dearest, sweetest love of my life, is yours. I await your decision.
I
God bless you, Peter Semyonich. I wish that life brings you the happiness that you have just brought to me.
Peter Semyonich, the former seducer of other men's wives, from that day on, turned his attentions to single, unmarried women only. Until one day, the perfect girl came along, and the confirmed bachelor married at last. He is today a completely happy man, except perhaps on those occasions when some dashing young officer walks up to him and says how attractive he finds his lovely young wife. Well, there you see, persistence of a man, where it could lead him. What happens when you find a persistent woman? And a persistent woman who knocks at a bank asking for her due. Particularly when the bank manager is in agony from a bad foot affected by gout.
Good morning, Mr. Kitsenov.
Shh, please. Please lower your voice.
I'm sorry, sir.
It's just that my gout is acting up again. And my nerves are like little firecrackers. The least little friction can set them off.
It must be very painful, sir.
Combing my hair this morning was agony.
Mr. Kitsenov,
Chutkin,
there's a woman who insists on seeing you. We can't make out head or tail out of her story, but she insists on seeing the directing manager. Perhaps if you're not well.
No. The business of the bank, minor physical ailment. Show her in, please. Quietly.
Okay.
Good morning, madam. Forgive me for not standing. I'm somewhat incapacitated. Please sit down. Is that just that I'm suffering from gout, madam? Please take your seat.
It's not coming. I don't know what to do.
Please lower your voice.
I'm sorry, sir.
It's just that my gout is acting up again. And my nerves are like little firecrackers. The least little friction can set them off.
It must be very painful, sir.
Combing my hair this morning was agony.
Mr. Kitsenov,
What is it, Pochatkin?
there's a woman who insists on seeing you. We can't make out head or tail out of her story, but she insists on seeing the directing manager. Perhaps if you're not well.
No. The business of the bank comes before my minor physical ailment. Show her in, please. Quietly. Good morning, madam. Forgive me for not standing. I'm somewhat incapacitated. Please sit down.
Thank you, sir.
Now, what can I do for you?
You can help me, sir. I pray to God you can help me. No one in this world seems to care.
Calm yourself. Madam, I beg of you, please calm yourself.
I'm sorry, sir.
I'm sure we can do it all if you approach the problem sensibly and quietly. Now, what's the nature of his illness, ma'am?
Well,
I'm sorry.
sir, it's my husband, Collegiate Assessor Shukin. He's been sick for 5 months, 5 agonizing months.
I know the
Suffering
horrors of illness, madam, and I can sympathize with you. Now, exactly what is his illness?
It's a nervous disorder, sir. Everything grates on his nerves. If you so much as touch him, he'll scream, "Ah!" How or why he got it, nobody knows.
I have an inkling. Please go on a little less descriptively, if possible.
Well, while the poor man was lying in bed,
Please, you're not going to scream again, are you?
not that I don't have cause, while the poor man was lying in bed these 5 months recuperating, he was dismissed from his job for no reason at all.
That's a pity, certainly. But I don't quite see the connection with our bank, madam.
You don't know how I suffered during his illness, sir. I nursed him from morning till night. I doctored him from night till morning, besides cleaning my house, taking care of our children, feeding our cat, our dog, our goat, my sister's bird who was sick.
The bird was sick?
My sister, she gets these dizzy spells. She's been dizzy a month now and getting dizzier every day.
Extraordinary. However, madam, this has nothing.
Then I had to take care of her house and her children and feed her my children. So our cat bit my sister's bird, and then my oldest daughter, the one with the broken arm, drowned my sister's cat. And now my sister wants my cat in exchange, or else she says she'll either drown my cat or break my oldest daughter's other arm. And
Yes, well, you certainly have had your pack of troubles, ma'am, haven't you? But I don't see the connection with our bank, madam.
And then when I went to get my husband's pay, they deducted 24 rubles and 36 kopecks. For what, I asked? Because they said he had borrowed it from the employees' fund. But that's impossible, I said. I would never allow him to give him the approval to borrow without my approval. I'd break his arm. Not while he was sick, of course. I don't have the strength. I'm not well myself. I have this racking cough, which is a terrible thing to hear.
I can understand why your husband took 5 months to recuperate, ma'am. Now, what is that you want from me?
What rightfully belongs to my husband. His 24 rubles and 36 kopecks. They won't give it to me because I'm a woman, weak and defenseless. Some of them have even laughed in my face, laughed. Where is the humor, I wonder, in a poor defenseless creature like myself?
None, I see none at all, madam. However, madam, I don't wish to be unkind. You have come to the wrong place. Your petition, however justified, has nothing to do with us. You have to go to the agency where your husband was employed.
What do you mean? I've been to 5 agencies already. No one is even willing to listen to my petition. I'm about to lose my mind. The hair is coming out of my head. Look at my hair. By the fistful. Don't ask me to go to another agency.
Please, ma'am, put your hair in its proper place. Now listen to me carefully. This is a bank. A bank. We are in the banking business. We bank money. Funds that are brought to us are banked by us. Do you understand what I'm saying?
What are you saying?
I'm saying I can't help you.
Are you saying you can't help me?
I'm trying. I don't think I'm making any headway.
Are you saying you don't believe that my husband is sick? Here. Here is the doctor's certificate. There's the proof. Do you still doubt?
No, I not only doubt it, I could swear to it.
Look at it. You didn't look at it.
It is not necessary, madam. I know full well how your husband must be suffering.
What is the point in a doctor's certificate if you don't even look at it? Look at it.
Oh, yes. I can see it. Your husband is sick. It's right here on the doctor's certificate. Well, you certainly have a good case, madam. But I'm afraid you still come to the wrong place. I'm getting excited.
You lied to me. I took you as a man of your word and you lied to me.
I lied? When?
When you said you read the doctor's certificate, you couldn't have read the description of my husband's illness without seeing he was fired unjustly. Don't take advantage of me because I'm a weak, defenseless woman. Do me the simple courtesy of reading the doctor's certificate. That's all I ask. Read it and then I'll go.
I read it, ma'am. What's the use of reading something twice when I've already read it once?
You didn't read it carefully?
I read it in detail.
Then you read it too fast. Read it slower.
I don't have to read it slower. I'm a fast reader.
Maybe you didn't absorb it. Let it sink in this time.
I absorbed it. It sank in. I can pass a test on this subject. Please, madam. I'm in no
Did
position
you read
to help
that
you.
part where it says my husband is suffering from a nervous disorder? Read that part again and see if I'm wrong.
That part, oh yes, I see your husband has a nervous disorder. My, how terribly. Only I can't help you. Now please go.
I'm sorry, Your Excellency. I hope I haven't caused you any pain.
Don't kiss my foot! Ah! Can't you get this into your balding head? Can you realize that you come to us with a claim like this as strange as you're going to a butcher shop for a haircut? Oh.
You can't get a haircut in a butcher's shop. Why would anyone go to a butcher's shop for a haircut? Are you laughing at me?
Laughing? I'm lucky I'm breathing. Potatkin!
Did I tell you I'm fasting? I haven't eaten in 3 days. I want to eat, but nothing stays down. I've had the same cup of coffee 3 times today.
Potatkin!
I'm skin and bones, and I faint at the least provocation. Watch. Did you see? You saw how I fainted? 8 times a day that happens.
What is it, Mr. Kistinov? What is wrong?
Get her out of here! Who let her into my office?
You did, sir. I asked you, and you said show her in.
I thought you met a human being, not a lunatic with a doctor's certificate.
He wouldn't even read it. I gave it to him and he threw it back in my face. You look like a kind person. You read it and see whether my husband is sick or not.
I read it, madam, twice.
Me too, I had to read it twice too.
You showed it to me outside. You showed it to everyone. We all read it. Even the doorman.
You just looked at it. You didn't read it.
Don't argue, read it, Pochatkin. Read it so that we can get her out of here.
Oh, yes. It says that your husband is sick. Now, will you please leave, madam, or I will have to have someone to remove you?
Yes, yes, remove her. Get the doorman and two of the guards. Be careful, she is strong as an ox.
If you touch me, I'll scream so loud, they'll hear it all over the city. You lose all your depositors. No one will come to a bank where they beat weak, defenseless women. I think I'm going to faint again.
Weak? Defenseless? Madam, you are as weak as a charging rhinoceros. You are as weak as a king of the jungles. You are a plague, madam. A plague that wipes out, that crosses your path. You're a raging river that washes out bridges and stately homes. You are a wind that blows villages over mountains. You are a woman who drives men like me to the conditions of your husbands like yours.
Are you saying you're not going to help me?
Hit her! Hit her, Pochatkin. Strike her, knock her senseless. Get her out from here.
You hear? You hear how I'm abused? He would have you hit an orphaned mother. Did you hear me cough? Listen to this cough.
Madam, if we can discuss this in my office.
Get your hands off me! Help! Help! I'm being beaten! Oh, merciful God, they're beating me!
I am not beating you. I'm holding your arm.
Beat her, you fool! When you have got the chance, knock her down. Get her senseless. Throw her out of the room.
A curse! A curse! A curse on your bank. I put a curse on you and your depositors. May the money in your vaults turn to potatoes. May the gold in your cellars turn to onions. May the rubles turn to radishes and the kopecks to pickles and the...
Stop! Stop it! I'll beg of you. Pochatkin, give her the money. Give her anything, but get her out of here.
24 rubles and 36 kopecks, not a penny more. That's all that's due to me, and that's all I want.
Come with me. I will get you your money.
And another ruble to get me home. I'd walk, but I have very weak ankles.
Give her enough for a taxi, Pochatkin. Give her anything, but get her out.
God bless you, sir. You're a kind man. God bless you. I remove the curse. Curse be gone.
Remove her! Oh my hair is falling out.
There's just one other thing, sir. I need a letter of recommendation so my husband can get another job. Don't bother yourself about it today, sir. I'll be back in the morning. God bless you, sir. God bless you.
She's coming back. She's coming back. She's coming back.
Oh, what a woman, what a woman. Would you like to be in that bank manager's position? Anyway, the curtain is now ringing down on our show. And as I come out, I see the devoted and dear patrons of the arts coming out into the foyer, discussing among themselves about the play that they have seen. And I see in the distance one man. Yes, yes, I see him. He looks like a character that can make a story. Yes, I. Oh, well, that's for next time, you know, not now. So before we close, why don't I introduce you to the people who made Good Doctor possible? We have first Tehzeeb Katari.
To say thank you, and then you'll be heard.
Mohamed Yusuf.
Yes.
Indrani Krishnayer. T.T.Srinath. Yohan Chacko.
Thank you. Thank you.
Make noise.
Shaan Katari Libby.
No, it's
Gayathree Krishna. R.Shantaram. And I am P.C.Ramakrishna. We have to thank Adam and Jim Libby for backroom work and making this possible for us. And so, friends, before saying do svidaniya, or hasta mañana, or au revoir, or if you want me to say just plain goodbye, till we meet again, good luck. Thank you for being with us. Good night.